Hey everyone, welcome back to Chance Math 2. Today we're on lesson 10 and we're going to talk about rewriting more than one fraction in a problem. So far we've added fractions with the same denominators or added fractions in which one denominator is a multiple of the other. In this problem, the denominators are not the same and the 2 is not a multiple of 5. Let's use these rods to show how we can add these fractions. We cannot put a yellow rod and the red rod together to find the sum because we don't know how to name this combination. Is there a white rod that could be used to write an equivalent fraction for both 1/2 and 1/5? Let's try a white rod. The white rod represents 1/10 to this whole. So tenths are a common denominator for 1/2 and 1/5. We'll use 5 1/10 rods to equal 1/2. And 2 1/10 rods to equal 1/5. If we put the white rods together, we get 5 tenths plus 2 tenths is equal to 7 tenths. So 1/2 plus 1/5 is equal to 7 tenths. Notice that the common denominator for 1/2 and 1/5 is 10, and it's a multiple of both denominators 2 and 5. Now let's add 1/2 and 1/5 without the rods. We will use the common denominator 10 again. Begin with 1/2. To get the denominator of 2 to a denominator of 10, multiply 2 by 5. Remember to also multiply the numerator by 5 as well. Now write the equivalent fraction for 1/5. To get from a denominator of 5 to a denominator of 10, we multiply 5 by 2. Remember, we also multiply the top number, the numerator, by 2 as well. Now we add the equivalent fractions. 5 tenths plus 2 tenths is equal to 7 tenths. So the sum of 1/2 and 1/5 is 7 tenths, just like we looked at on the rods. We can also use this method to subtract fractions with different denominators. We will find the difference of 2/3 and 1/2 using the common denominator of 6. Begin with 2/3. To get the denominator of 3 to a denominator of 6, we will multiply 3 by 2. We also need to remember that we have to do this to the top number as well. So we'll have to multiply the 2 by a 2 as well to give us our equivalent fraction of 4/6. Next, we have to move on to our second fraction, 1/2. To get the denominator of 2 to a denominator of 6, we have to multiply the fraction by 3. We have to multiply the fraction on the top and the bottom by a 3 to give us our equivalent fraction of 3/6. Now we can subtract our fractions. 4/6 minus 3/6 equals 1/6. Notice that the common denominator for 2/3 and 1/2 is 6. It's a multiple of both denominators, 3 and 2. Now let's find the sum of 1/3 and 2/5 without first being told the common denominator. To find a denominator that would work for both 3 and 5, first find their common multiple. The first common multiple for 3 and 5 is 15. Now we need to make equivalent fractions for 1/3 and 2/5 by using the common denominator 15. Let's start with 1/3. Because 3 times 5 equals 15, multiply the numerator and denominator by 5. The equivalent fraction is 5 out of 15. Now we're going to write the equivalent fraction for 2/5. We want the denominator to be 15, so we multiply the numerator and the denominator by 3. The equivalent fraction for 2/5 is 6/15. Now we can solve the fraction problem by adding the equivalent fractions. 5/15 plus 6/15 gives us 11/15. The sum of 1/3 and 2/5 is 11/15. We're going to have a quiz now after this lesson, so log on to Schoology to view your quiz.